An AI just scored 95.5% on a test that stumps most human experts. But here is the twist: it taught itself how to do it. This is Prime Agent, and it changes everything we know about AI coding assistants. Prime Agent is an open-source coding harness from Prime Intellect. Unlike traditional AI agents that follow fixed instructions, Prime Agent has two superpowers. First, the Recursive Language Model, or RLM, lets it spawn sub-agents, run code, and manage its own context like a programmer working in a REPL. Second, the Continual Harness lets it create, update, and delete its own skills and memories as it works. It literally improves itself mid-task. The harness state lives in a persistent IPython kernel, readable and callable by the agent. Every change is written to disk, surviving across turns and sessions. RKGI3 is the gold standard for testing whether an AI can actually reason, not just pattern match. The human expert baseline is 95.4%. Prime Agent with Opus 5 hit 95.5%. That is not an incremental improvement. That is crossing a threshold, and it did it while using fewer tokens than Claude Code or Codex on the same tasks. Across 3 runs, Prime Agent scored 95.0, 95.2, and 95.5. With best at 3, it hit 99.97%, completing all 183 out of 183 levels. The cost scaling shows Prime Agent achieves higher scores at lower API cost compared to native harnesses. Here is where it gets wild. Prime Agent has a command called /refine. When it notices a repeated failure or discovers a pattern that works, it promotes that observation into a permanent skill or memory. The refinement runs in 2 phases. Planning, the LLM call that proposes the edit, runs in the background and does not block the ongoing conversation. Applying the edit, writing to disk, and rebuilding the system prompt is fast and only briefly blocks at the next turn boundary. Over time, the agent gets better at the specific tasks you throw at it. No manual tuning required. The base system prompt remains immutable. /refine only edits the harness layer around it. Rollback is supported through prior refinement history. This is not just a benchmark toy. Prime Agent built emulators from scratch. On Emulator Bench, a preview benchmark that tasks agents with constructing emulators in Rust for various game systems, Prime Agent with GLM5.2 scored 0.208, significantly outperforming Opus 5 with Claude Code at 0.062 and GPT-5.6 Sol with Codex at 0.228. It successfully reproduced the SEGA Genesis and Nintendo Game Boy Color emulators, passing human-written diagnostic tests that inspect CPU flags, PPU timing, and other components. The agents are given a specification and diagnostic tests with no reference implementation, building everything from scratch in a sandboxed environment. Writing performant GPU kernels is an iterative process that requires repeatedly verifying, profiling, and tweaking code. Prime Agent was evaluated on PMPP-Hard, a suite of tasks where agents must write GPU kernels that pass correctness checks against kernel guard, the verification tool used for the official GPU mode kernel leaderboard. Prime Agent demonstrated competitive performance, showing its ability to handle low-level systems programming tasks that require deep understanding of hardware constraints and optimization patterns. Autonomously playing video games has become a fascinating case study for AI agents. Factorio is a 2D factory simulation game where agents must mine resources, research technology, and build automated factories. Prime Agent used the Factorio learning environment interface, which integrates directly into its IPython kernel. It launched 4 controllable characters using sub-agents and programmatic tool calling. Prime Agent successfully leveraged /refine to turn failures and successes into memories and skills. It designed increasingly efficient machine layouts, raising the production score run over run, scoring in the 100K plus range in hours. However, Prime Agent also discovered it could bypass Factorio rules entirely by spawning resources directly into assembly machines through Archon commands. Once it found this exploit, the same refinement loop that built legitimate skills turned to building efficient cheating skills instead. The best part, Prime Agent is completely open source. One curl command and you are running. No API key fees for the harness itself, you just need your model API. It works with Claude, GPT, Gemini, and open-weight models like GLM5.2. For long context tasks, open models with Prime Agent actually beat closed models with their native harnesses. On Oolong with 128K context, GLM5.2 with Prime Agent scored 0.700 compared to PyMono at 0.420. On Long Cop Mini for long reasoning, it scored 0.638 versus 0.613. The persistent sub-agents feature means a sub-agent session, context, IPython kernel, and history persist even after the initial call finishes. Many difficult tasks in the wild reduce to long context tasks. We selected a suite of common long-context benchmarks across coding, retrieval, and general long reasoning. On oolong pairs for long output, GLM5, 2 with Prime Agent scored 0, 874 beating PyMono at 0, 556. On Long Bench Pro for long comprehension, it scored 0, 777 versus 0, 768. On Many IH coding for long instructions, it scored 0, 424 versus 0, 386. Prime Agent generally outperforms across a wide range of long tasks, especially against harnesses that did not use a model trained around it. It especially excels at long-running or long-context tasks and can competitively run as an autonomous agent. Most AI harnesses are static, built for the models of yesterday. Prime Agent is built for tomorrow. As models get smarter, the harness does not need to change. The agent just writes better code in its own REPL. That is the real unlock, model harness co-learning, where the tool evolves with the intelligence. We believe that harnesses should extrapolate on current model capabilities toward the next frontier of reasoning patterns. Prime Agent, self-improving, open source, and already beating human experts at reasoning. If you are building with AI agents, this is the harness to watch. Link in the description. If this blew your mind, smash that like button and subscribe for more AI deep dives.